The New York Jets are attempting a copy and paste of Chiefs Kingdom. Works for me. Bring me a couple of Super Bowl rings, baby. We'll react to all these hires and interviews that are happening by the New York Jets. Let's roll.
I'm going to lose my gosh darn bananas. Boy Green Daily starts now. Zoinks!
I made it clear that my intention was to play, and my intention was to play for the New York Jets.
What's going on, everybody? I'm Paul Eston Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. Welcome to Boy Green Daily, a daily New York Jets video show, also available wherever you get your podcast. As you're heading in, come on, smack that like button, hit subscribe, and hop on the couch, and let's get ready for some New York Jets conversation. Again, live every single day at 7:30 in the morning, plus there's bonus shows like today. We're going to have Jets Central on, my boy Ian. Can't wait for that. That'll be coming up at 3 o'clock today. Myself, Ian, and Woody, James Woody, joining us at 3 o'clock. So many fun shows all throughout the week. I hope you guys can stay tuned. Plus, I was on with Connor Long last night, NY Flight Jets Talk. So try to be as many places as humanly possible here on the program. So let's keep it rolling. And let me do this immediately. Let's flip the banner, baby. Our Boy Green raffle leaderboard here on your screen. Our number one Austrian Jet fan has the most gifted membership so far this month at 46. J-Boy in second place at 35. DNY for life at 28. Fleur Lillian, Big D at 11. And Jimmy Jets at 10. Every gifted membership, $2.99 per. Get your raffle ticket or money equivalent. You guys can send in super chat, super stickers, PayPal money in, Venmo money in, at Boy Green 25 to win our grand prize. One lucky winner will win a grand prize that includes this. We made a fancy graphic for it. Put it on the screen, baby. The Boy Green raffle giveaway spectacular. A Nike Atmosphere Aaron Rodgers Heather Gray jersey is up for grabs later this month. A $50 Boy Green merch shop gift card. Again, the direct link to the Boy Green merch shop is always available in the YouTube description down below. And a custom laser engraving Jets Boy Green gift package that includes a license plate, pens, coins, commemorative coin, and so much more. Again, every raffle ticket gives you a chance to win this contest. Obviously, the more raffle tickets you have, the better opportunity you have at winning this shish kebab. So people, that is up for grabs, and we're trying to give back to you, the fans, on a month-to-month basis. So feel free to do so. Again, like the video, hit subscribe. That's a free way everyone could contribute, but I highly recommend at least everyone at least throws one raffle ticket into the pool, because you never know what can happen. If you have a ticket to the dance, you have a possibility. If you don't gift or buy yourself a membership, which you can also do in the YouTube description down below, join the Boy Green Coffee Club here, you won't have a chance to win some of those fabulous prizes. So feel free to do so, baby. Thank you. And Terrence Hill said, great interview with Connor yesterday. Yeah, I wish I could join Connor more on NY Flight Jets Talk, but I'm just a busy guy with family and everything else, so a lot of our schedules never coincide, so I'm glad we were able to do that last night. I was able to get that in right before our dinner arrived, so shout out to Connor Long, baby. All right, let's get into the topic du jour, which is the Jets have interviewed a pair of Kansas City Chiefs over the last 24 hours. That is Mike Borgonzi, the assistant general manager for the Kansas City Chiefs, and Matt Nagy, who has quite frankly served in a variety of roles for the Chiefs. He's been in the National Football League for 17 seasons. 8 of those 17 seasons have been spent with the Chiefs, and currently with the Chiefs is Matt Nagy, who's currently their offensive coordinator. He served as a senior assistant and quarterback coach previously, an offensive coordinator, quarterbacks coach. He's done a lot of different gigs over there. And Mike Borgonzi is this hot name. We have an article in the YouTube description down below. And yes, thank you, Dave Briga. Spags, that's the other name that escaped me for a second. Steve Spagnuolo is another one. Now, let's go through all of them. And I'm glad you brought that up, Dave, because that's the other one I wanted to get to as well. That the New York Jets are looking to copy the Kansas City Chiefs, which, by the way, more power to them. I love the opportunity to be potentially copying the Chiefs, who are the dynasty that is the Kansas City Chiefs. I'd love to have any sniff of that, that's for sure. Now let's go through each of those guys. Let's add Spags to the list too. That's a good point, Dave Briger. We'll start with Spags. He's 65 years old. He's arguably one of the greatest defensive coordinators in NFL history. He is certainly the most accomplished. This man has 4 Super Bowl rings on his finger. No other coordinator in NFL history has more than that. So Spags has redefined himself with the Kansas City Chiefs, and obviously he has his Super Bowl success with the New York Giants as well. And you got to throw that into the mix. So salute to him. Spags has been coaching football since 1981. He has coached at the college level. He has coached at the NFL level. Hell, he's even coached at the NFL Europe level. That is somewhere in his past as well. So he is wildly accomplished. But I think Steve Spags is a guy that, sometimes people are just better as coordinators. Sometimes people are just better as coordinators. Spags is, again, arguably the greatest defensive coordinator of all time with all of his accomplishments that he's put in. But as a head coach, I don't want to kill the guy, but he was 11-41 as a head coach. That is his record. 11-41. Not good, Bob. He got his whack at the piñata as the head coach of the St. Louis Rams from 2009-2011, and it went horrible. And that was his only shot. He also was an interim for the Giants back in 2017 when a slew of firings happened there. But he's been a coordinator. And as Adam Sandler once famously said, he's got old balls, man. He's got old balls. And a little too old for me. Again, I'm being an ageist, and I understand that. But this is a guy that at 65 years of age, a guy that's been settled with the Chiefs since 2019 now, and he's been everywhere. Obviously, the Jets have requested. I don't believe they've completed that interview yet. They've requested that interview. I just feel like ultimately at the end of the day here, this is one the Jets should pass on. He's a wonderful coach, and I think they will benefit from talking to him. So again, I have no shame against the Jets interviewing or requesting to interview anybody. I know the list is long, and I've heard some Jet fans complain what happened to having like a direct line of attack that you want to talk to like these 5 or 6 guys and let's roll. And the Jets obviously have much more than that. They're at the double-digit list at both general manager and head coach. But I don't know, man. I see Dave here giving a strong case for Spags, saying Paul, he had no players and the owner wanted out of St. Louis. Those are all true. But unfortunately, that's all on his resume. So then if we wipe that away, Dave, to your point, if you try to give him the apology, okay, I sort of understand what happened in St. Louis a decade ago, then the only other part of the equation that they have to evaluate is him as a coordinator. And while he's been a wildly successful coordinator, they don't have any other proof of concept at head coach outside of him being around Andy Reid, which I imagine could have only helped. Like I said, at 60, the next head coach of the New York Jets, this is why I was against Pete Carroll, who's older than Spags, obviously. He's in his 70s. But the next head coach of the Jets, hopefully, is here for the next 10 or 15 years, not 2, 3, 4 years of another change. That's what I want. And in 10 years, Spags will be, what did I just say? How old is this guy? He's 65. He'll be 75. I don't know how much longer Spags is going to want to do it, to be frank. So that's a polite no for Spags. That's a polite no for Spags. Now, Borgonzi, on the other hand, let's go to him, and then we'll go to Nagy. Nagy's the complicated one for me. But the Mike Borgonzi one is fascinating. ESPN's Rich Cimini described him as, quote unquote, a hot name in league circles. Here was his blurb about him on social media, Rich Cimini. Has been around a lot of winning, 3 Super Bowl rings, Brett Veach's right-hand man since 2021, started as a low-level assistant under general manager Scott Pioli. No previous GM experience has been with only one organization, also linked to the Tennessee Titans opening, Cimini said. Yeah, prior to coming to the NFL, he was a tight ends coach for 1 year, and then he said, nah, that's not what I want to do. I want to jump to the next level. He goes and becomes an assistant recruiting coordinator for Boston College for 2 years, and then he's been with the Chiefs ever since. He's been with the Chiefs from 2009 to present day. And Borgonzi is a guy that Connor Rogers said, shout out to our boy Connor Rogers, NBC analyst, also Badlands, the Jet subscription podcast you can pay for. He had this to say on Badlands, quote, Borgonzi has been with the Chiefs for 16 years. He has done every job under the sun over there, pro scouting, college scouting, budget management, like all of these different things. He's been the assistant GM now for 3 years, where it's like, okay, you're alongside the hip of Brett Veach, where you're part of every massive decision for the organization with him and Andy Reid. You're helping run drafts, helping run free agency, dealing with street free agency, waiver wires, Connor Rogers continued. And Connor Rogers said this on social media, quote, in terms of resume, not many guys in this cycle are more qualified to get a shot at the GM chair, end quote, than Mike Borgonzi. Chiefs people are saying it's long past overdue for Borgonzi to get his chance to run a team. Borgonzi's intriguing, man. He's incredibly exciting. He's the hot name that's out there, and the thing that helps the Jets, and we've been talking about this the whole damn time, people. There are currently only 2 GM vacancies in the National Football League. The Jets picked a good year to fire Joe Douglas, apparently, because they've had their GM opening since the middle of the year, obviously. And the only other opening just opened up that was Rand Carthon, who got sacked by the Tennessee Titans. And they, in that particular situation, would be marriaged with Callahan in Tennessee. With the Jets, it's a fresh platter. A fresh platter for the new general manager that comes over for the Kansas City Chiefs. So that, to me, is incredibly compelling. Now, again, Borgonzi is really intriguing. He's a hot name. He's coming from the Chiefs. And hell, he could be adding another Super Bowl ring before this is all said and over. So Borgonzi, very nice. Spags, meh. I respect the guy. Again, my grandfather, God rest his soul, massive Giants fan. Spags is a guy that could be coming back to New Jersey. That would be exciting for Spags. But now we get into the complicated one. The one the Jets also interviewed yesterday. They interviewed Borgonzi. They also interviewed Matt Nagy. Now, I want to say this before we even say anything about Matt Nagy, that just because the Jets potentially hire Mike Borgonzi does not necessarily mean we're going to get Matt Nagy. Now, it's a natural connection to make. They're both chief guys. They both interview with the Jets. So it's a distinct possibility, of course. But it's not a guarantee. Borgonzi knows more than that exclusively of people in the league or Spags or what have you. Like, there's more people around the National Football League. Aaron Glenn, who has really grown on me, and others. But just to throw that out there, it's possible. It's not guaranteed, but it's possible. Let's get to Matt Nagy, who, again, is a complicated animal. He's 46 years old. The age is right there for Matt Nagy. He's a former NFL head coach. He was with the Chicago Bears from 2018 to 2021. So experience, which a lot of Jet fans are looking for. That's for sure. A coach of the year? Sure. Yes, he was a coach of the year in his very first season. In his very first season, he won 12 bleeping games, people. That's the most wins the Jets have ever had in a single season in franchise history. It only happened once back in 1998. So Matt Nagy won in his first season with the Bears, won 12 games, won the division, and he was with the Bears for 4 years. Here's what happened in those 4 years. So he wins 12 games his first year, wins the division. Okay. Coach of the year. Everything goes great. But then he's never able to replicate that success in any of his following years. He goes to the playoffs twice. In the expanded 17 or not 17 games, 7 playoff, teams on each side. He was able to get in, backdoor his way into an 8-8 playoff. He was 0-2 in the playoffs, losing in the wild card round in both respects, one and done in both of those years. And you see the resume, and you're like, wow. Matt Nagy is a NFL head coach, and he's only gotten one whack at the piñata. He had 4 seasons. He finished 34-31, 3 games above 500, went to the playoffs twice. That's a 12-win season. You're like, because I will tell you my initial on Matt Nagy was gross. No thanks. Absolutely not. I don't want Matt Nagy because, again, what is he doing with the Chiefs? I still don't know. I see job titles, but they don't really mean what they mean because Andy Reid runs the entire offense over there. So what does it all mean? I don't know. Not sure. Unclear. Very unclear. As it pertains to that. Very unclear. So that part complicates things. And then the Bears firing happens, and I know my initial reaction just hearing the name, and I'm like, do I have to do a discount double check myself? Because Nagy's resume is more intriguing when you give it a gander. And I went back, and I'm like, you know what? Let me read some articles from when Matt Nagy was fired. Maybe it'll give me a better understanding of what went wrong in Chicago. And the articles, there was a few of them, all sort of stated the same thing, that Nagy, who again, remember folks, when you look at the old resume here for Matt Nagy, is that he's an offensive guy. Obviously, he's been coaching offense since he was coaching high school football in 2001. So quarterback coach, offensive coordinator, offensive quality control coach, quarterback coach, offensive coordinator, head coach, senior assistant quarterback coach, offense coordinator. Like it's just offense, which again is another intriguing thing for Jet fans, right? So a guy who's done it before, offensive guy, and when you look at it for Matt Nagy, the part that he failed, according to Bears articles that discussed his firing, is he failed at the quarterback position. Is they bring in Mitch Trubisky, stinks. Justin Fields, stinks. And he, kaput, he gets fired. So that's interesting. I read about his Coach of the Year season and where Matt Nagy apparently was praised was for his creativity on offense and his humble disposition. That's a direct quote from an ESPN article. But again, the Bears could not sustain that success following it. So, Matt Nagy, my initial was gross, but you look at the resume, you're like, Coach of the Year, 12 wins, above 500, a winning season. This is Woody's guy, Matt Nagy, which we'll talk to Woody later today. This is Woody's guy. I'm still not sure. I still feel gross. I still don't want Matt Nagy. But you look at the resume, it's more intriguing than you think. Again, I'm not going to be throwing a parade if we land Matt Nagy, but maybe I shouldn't be totally disgusted. But I am leaning no on Nagy. But when you read the resume, it makes you go, that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. We got 300 people in the room. Like the video, hit subscribe, baby. Spread the good gospel of all things Boy Green Daily here on the program. It's intriguing. Very intriguing. You know, the Jets have actually interviewed a lot of people. Let's get a refresh, a current discount double check. We're doing a show every day that still doesn't feel enough to talk about all the guys here. Let's run through everyone who's been requested or interviewed or what have you. So let's see. We've got Darren Rizzi. He's the Saints interim head coach, longtime special teams coordinator. Got Minnesota Vikings defensive coordinator Brian Flores, Minnesota Vikings quarterback coach Josh McCown. A lot made about him with the Connor Rogers batting the table for him. Interesting. We talked about Matt Nagy. There's 49ers quarterback coach Brian Greasy, which is interesting. That one's out of left field. Denver Broncos defensive coordinator Vance Joseph. Absolutely not. Buffalo Bills offensive coordinator Joe Brady. Detroit Lions defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn, Pittsburgh Steelers offensive coordinator Arthur Smith, Houston Texans offensive coordinator Bobby Slowick, former New York Jets head coach Rex Ryan, former Tennessee Titans head coach Mike Vrabel, and then former Washington football team's head coach Ron Rivera. And then the GMs are this: Brian Gain, Buffalo Bills assistant general manager, Green Bay Packers VP of player personnel John Eric Sullivan, Cincinnati Bengals senior personnel executive Trey Brown, Tampa Bay Buccaneers assistant general manager Mike Greenberg, Minnesota Vikings senior vice president of player personnel Ryan Grigson, Los Angeles Rams senior personnel executive Ray Farmer, Kansas City Chiefs assistant GM Mike Borgonzi, who we talked about, Philadelphia Eagles assistant GM Alec Hallaby, who the Jets also interviewed yesterday, ESPN analyst Louis Riddick, Senior Bowl director Jim Nagy, former Tennessee Titans general manager John Robinson Gross, and then former Atlanta Falcons general manager Thomas Dimitrioff. Whew. Shout out to Jets X Factor for that, baby. A lot to like there. And look at this, our boy K-Brock, who was just gifted a Boy Green Coffee Club membership this week. He chimes in, and every time we get a shout out or super member shout out, we get one of these.
Wow.
Salute to K-Brock. Thanks for being a member for 5 months. We appreciate you, K-Brock. You help keep the show alive, my friend. Aaron Glenn is the guy. Again, AG has grown a lot on me. I like AG a lot. There would be just, I keep repeating it, but there would just be such a great coming home story for AG to come back. Again, obviously, two important questions for Aaron Glenn, and really for anybody, but particularly for the defensive guys, it's an additional question. Or an additional focus, rather. What's your quarterback plan? Who's your offensive coordinator? Those two questions are paramount for any defensive guy. Spags, AG, Rex Ryan, all those dudes. Now, an offensive guy coming in, it's still a question, but less one, because I'm like, oh, okay, you're an offensive guy. I'd be hiring you for your expertise in that department. But for the defensive guy, super important. But AG's a motivator, culture builder. Detroit Lions, obviously, they had a lot of great success. That can only help coming over here from there. That helps. Former Jet, obviously, first-round draft choice. A wonderful NFL career, being in the National Football League for 15 seasons, 8 of those 15 seasons with our New York Jets, baby. A dream job for him. He'd really want the job. Now, just because you want the job doesn't mean it's great. But, yeah, man, that certainly helps. Our senior board Dave Briga here, Sam. I'm on for Borgonzi or Dimitrioff. Let's get it done ASAP. Yeah, I'm on for both of those individuals, Dave. We are swimming in the same waters, my friend. Borgonzi, for all the reasons, is going on. We talked about his resume. And Thomas Dimitrioff, man, 2008 to 2020, that is a long run as a general manager in the National Football League, and there's a reason he was around for that long. Getting his team to the Super Bowl, constructing that team, picking a franchise quarterback, picking a franchise left tackle, trading up in the draft, getting a Hall of Fame wide receiver. I mean, shoot. He's got a pretty good resume. I'm surprised he's been out of the league since that point. Maybe he's just been relooking at himself. I don't know. K-Brock says Borgonzi and Glenn. Sure, sign me up. That'd be nice, K-Brock. That'd be nice. I'd be for that. Yep. NC Green. Wonder if the 33rd team gets paid by the interview. Hey, maybe. But, I mean, that's the amount of interviews means that the 33rd team is doing their job, NC Green. It means they're doing their job. The Jets were prepared for the moment. That's what you like to see. They better be, because Robert Saleh was fired after week 5, and Joe Douglas was fired in the middle of the season. So they had to have they had a advantage doing that. And the advantage was, we know before anyone else, our guys are gone, and we're going to be ready for the moment strikes. As soon as the regular season's over and we can start interviewing guys, we're going to be ready. And the Jets have been. And I know you meant it as a joke. I'm just saying, a lot of people have been making jokes about it, NC Green. But I'm just saying, in general, this just means that the 33rd team's been doing their job. It is funny because, again, they're talking to 30 people. And I've heard people complain, like Joe Caporoso on Badlands. He complained, like, at a certain point, is it too much, right? Like, you're in the 14th interview with a guy, and do you lose the luster? I don't think so. You have enough people in the room. You got Woody, you got Christopher, you got Tannenbaum, you got Spielman. Like, you got all these people in the room. You guys should be able to keep fresh with how you're setting these up to get the most information possible. I would imagine it does not get to a lackluster point. And there's different questions for different guys. Some of them are the same. Again, quarterback plan, coaching staff. How do you plan on fixing the Jets? But certain guys, I would imagine, have individual questions. Matt Nagy, hey, what went wrong in Chicago the first time? How'd you learn from that experience? That would be a question. Spag, same thing. Whoa, seems like you got jabbed in the St. Louis situation with everything that was going on. What happened there? So different guys have different questions, which I imagine would keep it fresh. There's a couple that are the same, but some that keep it fresh. All right, let's do this, people. I'm going to open up the phone lines early here on the show. We got 400 people in the room. Again, like the video, hit subscribe. Keep those memberships flowing, baby. It gives you guys some opportunities to win. Again, let's throw it back up on the screen one more time, baby, for the amazing prize pack this month. Again, an Aaron Rodgers Nike Atmosphere jersey, a $50 Boy Green merch shop gift card, plus a custom laser engraving gift package with Boy Green and Jets merch. All of that available for one lucky grand prize winner. Again, how do you get into that contest? You gift a Boy Green Coffee Cup membership or buy one yourself. If you enjoy the show, it's a way to support the show and also a chance to win free stuff. It's a win-win, baby. Let's open up the phone lines next, and we'll take your phone calls right here on Boy Green Daily.
Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily. Talking just football, man. Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily. The New York Jets Football Club. Wow. Offense, defense, special teams. Watch the Super Bowl season with Boy Green. J-E-T-S. Jets.
Thanks for the tunes, Hep, you handsome bastard. Here we are on January 9th, getting later in the week. I've been hosting solo on the radio show all week, the Man Child Show, with me, Boy Green. So if you guys have enjoyed any of that content, appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in. And we'll be talking some NFL draft today. I'll get some Jets draft questions in with my guy, Thor Nystrom. of the Matthew Berry's fantasy life. We'll be talking some of that here on the show and a variety of other topics, so feel free. This is Score 1260, the voice of the Central New York sports fan, baby. Wink. Now let's go to the phone lines. You got our guy Johnny Boy here on the show first. What's up, Johnny?
Hey, morning, Boy Green. Boy Green, how you doing today, man?
Hey, not too shabby, man.
The Spags conversation is kind of interesting to me, man. Like,
yeah,
he knows the New York market. He's been in there. The thing with him, I would have to say, who is his staff? Like,
sure.
it's kind of one of those like Rex Ryan stuff where it's like, okay, who's your staff? Like, don't come in here and when we ask you that and be like, oh, I don't know. I don't have a clue yet. So that's interesting. But the Borgonzi, however you say his name is and all that, that's one of the guys from the very beginning that I liked a lot. And just because of the connections that he's had in the past with a lot of the guys that we've been looking at. He has a relationship with Brian Flores from the Boston College stuff and the whole nine as well. So that would be interesting as well. I just, again, like the reason I keep bringing these tandem stuff up, because I don't want a head coach and a GM that has no type of connection at all with the individual. So then it's a whole issue again.
Right, Mike McCagnon and Todd Bowles. That's what we had. They didn't know each other. They got randomly thrown together. Yeah, 100%.
And all that. But I came in here real quick. I wanted to ask you a quick question. I asked it last night to somebody else. Yesterday, the Aaron Glenn stuff, right? It's the more and more it's intriguing and all that that's occurring and stuff like that, right? What's two questions? Aaron Glenn with possibly as an OC Mike Brunell, right?
Mark Brunell. Yes.
He's the QB coach over there. What he's done with Jared Goff, learned under Ben Johnson, right? Get promoted as an OC. He's been in the building before. He's put Mark Sanchez under his wing during those runs that we had as well. He's been in the league forever and a day. It seems like, a lot of the quarterbacks of old that kind of sit and stood around and journeymen and the whole nine are starting to get really looked at, as like these innovative coaches, right?
Sure.
So wanted to get your thoughts on that. And then the last question, Josh McCown, right? The more and more you talk, the more and more you kind of do some, research on him and everything, he's intriguing and all that. Would the Jets essentially roll the dice on this guy? I would say yes. Why not? Because he's an offensive guy. He's been in here before, right? He's someone that is, I don't know. But I wanted to get your thoughts in regards to that. I appreciate you guys with that. And yeah, peace.
Thanks, Johnny. Appreciate you, pal. Two good questions. First off, Mark Brunell is not a name I've heard, so shout out to Johnny Boy. Here's a random story you guys weren't anticipating, and I didn't know I was going to tell it till Johnny Boy said it. One of the first football games I ever got to attend in my life was a Dallas Cowboys Jacksonville Jaguars preseason game. The quarterback for the Jaguars, Mark Brunell. We were, my father got us tickets. It was in the nosebleeds. It was raining, I remember. And we're looking at them like ants down on the field. But it was a Jaguars-Cowboys game, I remember. It was late 90s, early 2000s, somewhere in there. We were in Florida, and we saw it. And I saw Mark Brunell, who eventually would end his career with the New York Jets. He was with the Jets 2010, 2011. He was a player from 1993 all the way to 2011, played for the Packers, the Jaguars most notably, the Washington Redskins at the time, the Saints, and then the Jets. And he won a Super Bowl championship when he was the backup quarterback to Drew Brees on those Saints teams. So he's been around the block. He is an old head, baby. He's 54. He's a longtime player in the league. He coached at the high school level, which was really cool for a long time. And then he jumped over to be the QB coach with the Lions. He's been part of this Lions change since 2021. I am intrigued because Aaron Glenn has so many relationships in the league. He's obviously, he's got all his relationship with the Lions people. He's got all his relationship with the Saints people. And that's a lot of the connections Mark Brunell has too. He makes a lot of sense because I think a lot of us have been trying to figure out if AG was hired, and again, he'd be popular in a lot of respects, what would the offensive staff be? Mark Brunell is not a name I've heard, Johnny Boy. And not that I've been actively seeking it yet, obviously. I haven't looked, but when when we're doing an Aaron Glenn episode, let's see what connections and things that we can look up. Mark Brunell's compelling. I love the name. Obviously, I got a personal connection to Mark Brunell from my father and my visit to that Jaguars-Cowboys game in the late 90s, early 2000s. So, and I got a Jacksonville Jaguars like little beanie bear that's Mark Brunell. So shout out to Mark Brunell. Random Mark Brunell story. But I like it. I like the cut of your jib, Johnny Boy. I'll get more into Josh McCown in just a moment. Let's get back to the phone lines. We've got Hep here on the show. What's up, Hep?
Hey, Paul. How's it going, bud?
Good,
Hey,
pal.
I'm curious. You're a Jet fan because of your grandpa, right?
That's correct. Yes.
So what happened to your dad? Did he get dropped on his head or something? What's with the Dallas Cowboys?
That's a good point. Yeah, he'll have to tell. He's actually on the show on Sunday. We'll have to see what is his Cowboys origin story to get it from pillar to post. Now, he desperately wanted me to be a Cowboys fan. I mean, desperately. Like, when he got a son, he was like, oh, yes, here's my opportunity to groom my son to be, I would have been Boy Blue. This would be Boy Blue Daily. I'd be doing a Cowboys show right now. It was the dream of my father. But for whatever reason, his father got me to jump on the Jets bandwagon, and I've never been off it since. So, it's my father has told me it's one of the greatest disappointments of his life that I left the Dallas Cowboys and I was a Jets guy. So that still pains him to this day.
Hey, you got to love grandpas, man. They got your back.
Amen, brother. I love it.
All right. That was just a quick in and out. I'll talk to you later.
Yeah. All right, love it, Hep. Thanks for the call. That is true. My dad wanted me to be a Cowboys fan so bad. I don't know how many of you guys would still be here if I was Boy Blue Daily. Would that have still picked up? Would the Cowboys people have accepted me? So many what-if questions in the NFL. Real quick, Johnny, I'll go to your Josh McCown point. I am completely intrigued. I can't play the Connor Rogers clip here on the show. It's just too long. It's a 5-minute clip, but I highly recommend you guys check it out on social media. It's I pulled it from the Badlands feed. Subscribe to Badlands to get more, but it's a long clip. But I wanted to share it publicly because I want people, first off, to get a taste of Badlands so they can subscribe if they'd like to. But Connor Rogers' take was too good to only clip for a small piece. I think it would have removed the context of his argument. It's on Instagram. It's on Twitter of this 5-minute clip of him explaining Connor Rogers, NBC analyst, and also does stuff with Badlands, obviously, making a compelling case why the Jets should consider hiring Josh McCown, even if it's a year too early, because that's what you could argue about Josh McCown. He's a young guy. He's 45 years of age. Okay, and Nagy's also 45 too, so take that into consideration. But McCown played a long time in the league. He played in the NFL from 2002 to 2020. Long-time player. Quarterback coach with the Panthers, and then quarterback coach with the Vikings. So a very limited coaching resume on initial glance. But I think what people missed is the majority of his career was spent as a backup. He was a QB coach before he was a QB coach. So there is a lot there. Obviously, he's well-respected within the Jets organization, well-respected with the NFL. He would be intriguing. You want to take a dart throw, which was sort of what Johnny's talking about on Josh McCown. He's a leader of men. He's a guy everyone loves. To take a chance on that, to bring in a McCown, is something I would be excited for because, like, why the hell not? If you want to zig after all the zagging, I don't blame him. The Jets have only had one offensive coach, head coach under Woody Johnson. That's Adam Gase. And that failed miserably. But just because that failed miserably doesn't mean you should never get another offensive coach ever again. So I'm very intrigued by the possibility of the Jets hiring Josh McCown. Now, a lot of the Josh McCown talk has been, oh, he could come over as the OC for Flores. And that's a very popular conversation. But, yeah, Josh McCown's super intriguing. Super intriguing. I've heard him do a lot of interviews in one-on-one settings and conference settings or press conference settings, and it'd be intriguing. Could it fail miserably? Absolutely. And Josh McCown shoulda, coulda, woulda. He was going to be the Houston Texans head coach, but the possibility of them hiring him leaked out in social media land, and social media hated it, saying Josh McCown has no resume. How can you hire this unqualified guy for the role? That would be a disrespectful to the other people that have been grinding forever for a chance to be a head coach. So then the Texans heard that public plea and went, okay, just kidding. We're not going to do it. But they would have done it if the public peer pressure didn't pressure them out of doing it. He would have been the head coach for the Houston Texans. Let's get a few comments here, and then we'll get back to the phone lines. I see people are waiting. We'll get right to you. Brian J. here on YouTube. BG, you can argue that we gave Ulbrich a shot a year too early, so that makes me nervous about McCown. I don't know if we really gave him a shot a year too early. He was never a full-time NFL head coach. They gave him a chance because somebody had to be the interim in the meantime. So I'm not sure if that's the same comparison to make. It'd be one thing if the Jets fired Saleh in January and then hired Ulbrich straight up. That's where you could have maybe said a year too early. But I don't know if I would go to those waters now. But it's, again, a year too early is incredibly scary because a guy can just turn out to flop and be bad. Maybe he needs the additional year of experience wherever he would be. Shadowrum says, need a coach that is more feared than loved. I don't know if that would be the case for McCown. He'd be a loved guy, I would say. Microfox, this would be the dumbest move. Well, how many times have the Jets done that in your life? Where they do a move, you're like, oh, that's the dumbest move. Allen, he gives the same take basically as Connor Rogers. McCown's going to be a head coach within 3 years. Why not roll the dice and give him the head coach job now? There's a compelling case to be made. Again, I can't recommend it enough. Look it up on my Instagram, @BoyGreen25. Look it up on my Twitter, @BoyGreen25. You'll see it's Josh McCown doing one of these in a Jets jersey. It's a 5-minute clip. If you have the time, carve it, park it out. Or if you're just a Badlands subscriber, then just go listen to one of their latest episodes. But he basically, Connor Rogers said he's spoken to league people and that Josh McCown is inevitably, seemingly going to be a head coach. Why not give him a shot a little bit early? It's compelling. It's certainly compelling. All right, we'll get some more conversation on that in just a moment. Let's head back to the phone lines here, and we got our boy Easy here on the show. What's up, Easy? Good morning.
Josh McCown, maybe give him OC job. Give him the OC.
Okay, no head coach though.
Well, he's going to be a head coach, but let him handle half the team first, and if he does a good job there, we know he's a good quarterback coach, and I think getting a good defensive coordinator is going to be part of the cards in this situation, because then you could definitely just go out and hire a defensive head coach if you know you got a decent OC. And we have to try something different. We have to think a little outside the box because they've consistently just done what everyone says, like this guy's the best, right? You know, like when they got Saleh, oh, he was the hot commodity and this and this.
He was.
So, I mean, the best kind of guys out there with the experience are the D guys. So make McCown or what the other guy was saying, Brunell, offensive coordinator. And then you can hire a defensive-minded head coach to straighten out the defense. The talent is on this team. We need coaching. That's what we need.
Only thing I would say is the
coaching.
We do. I think Jet fans, and to your point, you're not saying opposite of what I'm about to say. You're saying the truth. Even if they hired a Flores, I think a lot of Jet fans would be fearful of a head coach that is going to call players on either side of the ball, whether it's defense or offense, after seeing Ulbrich collapse. Now, Ulbrich is not Flores or any of these other guys, but I think that's the fear. So maybe it'd be important for them to hire
interim head coach. Ron Middleton.
You said that, yeah. And then
Ulbrich
Ulbrich could have stayed as defensive coordinator. That's correct. Yes.
They basically Woody took him out of his lane, and I still had some doubts about Ulbrich because I still think a lot of the success of the defense was still based on Saleh.
That's what a lot of people say because it was good with Saleh. Saleh leaves immediately; it's bad. So that could be because Ulbrich's time. Yeah, it's either Ulbrich's time was split, and that's what he admitted after the season. That he said, "I just did when I had the head coach responsibilities. I couldn't contribute the amount of time I normally do to defense as a coordinator." So it could be that, or it could have been Saleh, or it could be both. I don't know.
Well, then Ulbrich made the ultimate mistake of not delegating a new DC. And then have him just have some input. If he'd have just relegated himself to be interim and appointed a DC and just had some input, that probably would have worked better. When you're a head coach, your job is everything. You can't concentrate on two things because you're already doing everything. You have to deal with the press. You have to deal with the game plan on the offense, the game plan on the defense. You can't be busy calling plays. You have to be doing time management. You have to be making sure that when the guys call a play, you got the right personnel on the field, all of this stuff. Well, that's, I think, offensive coordinator is supposed to do that. Make sure the personnel packages are proper. Isn't that what I'm saying?
Correct. That's part of it. They have an offensive staff too that I'm sure helps them with some of those.
Do you think that's what Nathaniel Hackett was doing while the other guy was calling the plays? Do you think he was just helping coordinate maybe the personnel packages on the field, or doing game plans before? Think that's what he was doing since they took the play calling away?
I would also add that he probably did some of the same stuff he did in Green Bay, which was help with the, as he called it, the gold zone package, aka the red zone package. I imagine that was his calling card in Green Bay. I imagine he transferred into that as well with the Jets after Todd Downing took over.
I still think the biggest problem with the Jets over the last 3 years was when Coach Greg Knapp got killed on that bike accident.
Absolutely, yes.
Because that just absolutely kneecapped Zach Wilson. It really did.
It did. The Jets built a young staff around Zach Wilson, and the key to the puzzle was Napper, a.k.a. Greg Knapp, who was this experienced guy that's worked with Steve Youngs and Michael Vicks and every other quarterback on this blue earth. And he was supposed to be the yin to the yang to the coaching staff, and the mix of young and old was supposed to unlock Zach Wilson. Mm-hmm. We'll never know what coulda, shoulda, woulda happened if someone wasn't a distracted driver that unfortunately struck him. So that's a
2-3 years from now, we're going to see Zach lighten up the league because he's got the skill sets. He's just got to get his bean straight.
Maybe. We'll see. Yeah, right now he's in Denver, but I believe he's set to be a free agent this offseason. So, hey, maybe he'll come back to the Jets.
But the good thing is he's in Denver and he's learning.
Of course, yes, Sean Payton. He's a bright offensive mind. Zero. Yeah.
And I think Sean Payton actually likes the kid. Of course, Bo Nix just turned out to be the prodigy. So, I mean, I think that's why he wanted Zach, was he figured maybe he could coach him up. But maybe Zach will be maybe Zach's going to be coached up to be a elite backup in this league.
That's the best job in football, holding a clipboard, making millions of dollars. Not too shabby.
Yeah, sign me up, buddy.
Yeah, there you go.
Anyway, quick note.
Yes, okay.
I didn't have eggs, so I made grilled ham and Swiss. Delicious.
Oh, wow. Fancy. I like the Chinaware there. Very nice. No.
Oh, that's cheap ass shit. Anyway, so you've heard me for the day, and now I will yield for the others. Okay. Thank you, guys.
Okay, appreciate it. Easy. That's an important driving skill. Being able to yield when necessary, not yield all the time, but yield when necessary. An important task. Again, we got nearly 600 people in the room. Like the video, hit subscribe, baby, and keep those Boy Green Coffee Club memberships flowing. So you guys could get some more raffle tickets for our contest for the end of the month. Again, we'll be giving that away at the end of this month. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. We got the legend himself, Ricky New York, here on the program. What's up, Ricky?
Hey, how's it going, Paul?
Hey, great, thanks.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I think I might have maybe I misheard Easy just then, but did he say we need to get like a good offensive coordinator to put with the defensive guy? And no, I think that's a wrong approach.
Okay.
I think that us sticking any kind of combinations together is wrong. It's kind of like oh God, what was I going to say? It was kind of like how Joe D was initially when we had Gase and JD.
Oh, yes. Yeah, right. Greg Williams, where they were head coaches of like offense and defense. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. What I think is when we hire the head coach, we're so confident in our hire that we're not all scared of what kind of staff he's going to put together.
Right.
And again, with what you were saying about AG, I know that a lot of people like to make, and I admit, initially I was guilty of the same thing, just the rudimentary dot connecting, Yeah. Oh, AG comes from Detroit. He'll bring people from Detroit.
Correct.
But
right.
I think we need to dig deeper than that because, AG, former player, could be head coach.
Sure.
You can look at how that's turned out in different places. Like the guy in New England, Mayo, he only made it a year. However, DeMeco Ryans is kicking ass down in Houston. So, and which brings me to my next point. Aaron Glenn and DeMeco Ryans were teammates in Houston. They know each other. Aaron Glenn knows a lot of people from his playing career uh, and his coaching career. I mean, he's got, he's like one of those weeds in the yard. You go to pull it out and the roots just go everywhere. On the surface, it may not look that impressive, but let me tell you what, the reach is long. So, I keep saying this, like, listening to different content creators, and it's like, well, my concern would be this, or my fear would be this. And it's like, you can't make these decisions based on fear. You can't say like, oh, I'm afraid to have another defensive coordinator, or I'm afraid to have another first-time head coach. And I try to say, like, aside from his interim time in Miami, Dan Campbell was a head coach, wasn't a head coach before. Neither was McVay, neither was Shanahan. I mean, there are a lot of examples of really good first-time head coaches. Now, there's plenty even more of ones that turned out bad.
Of course.
But
right.
I just think that if you look at it like that, you eliminate people because their first time or their defensive background, you're making a huge mistake. And so far, it looks like the Jets are being very thorough and leaving no stone unturned. Whether it's really an in-depth search or whether that's just an optics thing to give confidence to the fan base that they're being thorough, who knows? Probably a little of both, to be honest. But,
probably,
dude, I think the whole Rex thing was a great story. It was a good way to get the fan base engaged. We loved Rex when he was. Well, I shouldn't even say that. Like, the same people that are saying how much they loved Rex is the same people that were screaming for his head at the end of his tenure here. It's like the ex-girlfriend thing. You try to talk yourself into it, thinking about the good times, and you're ignoring the bad. There's a reason that's the ex.
That's right.
So
that's right.
At any rate, I just, I wouldn't be opposed to like, Borgonzi and Glenn combo or something. Ooh. Like immediately I thought Ray Agnew and Glenn. However, like I said, I was just dot connecting. Aaron Glenn knows so many people in this league. Who knows? He may have some interact just because it's not obvious, something that's out there where we all know about it doesn't mean their paths haven't crossed. And at any rate, I'm interested to see where this goes. Aaron Glenn's my guy for a multitude of reasons. Emphasis on stopping the run. That one line that he had, nobody's perfect, everybody makes mistakes, but you're damn sure not going to make the same mistake twice. I love that because we've seen that so much. I just think that he's cut from the right kind of cloth. I think he's the right kind of leader that we need. And I keep getting bashed. People say, oh, you just like him because he's a former Jet. That might have a little bit to do with it, but not really. Honestly, it's what he's done as a coordinator, especially the job he's doing in Detroit. So at any rate, that's my guy. It'll continue to be my guy, but I just wanted to throw that out there. Aside from the obvious connections that we see, dig deeper, man. Like I said, his roots spread all out. He knows a lot of people, and I think that for me, hell, I want him to hurry up and hire him because I'm so intrigued to see who his staff will be. Like that's going to be a fun one. So, at any rate, fingers crossed they get this right. And I'll echo something that Jake Asman said.
Okay.
Whoever the coach is that they do end up hiring, he better damn sure be the right guy. That's it. And honestly, the names, I do care, but if we get a good coach, will I be disappointed it wasn't the guy that I want? Not really. If we're winning games, I could care less. You know, and since it may seem like I took a shot at Allen the last time that I called in, I'll say something nice about him. They can hire Allen as our head coach. And if we're winning games, I would actually be an Allen fan.
Wow.
That's it.
Okay.
I just want to win some games. That's it.
There you go. I love it.
Not some, a bunch.
Yeah, a bunch. Yes, let's win a bunch.
January and God willing, February games.
There you go. That would be nice. No more of this talking draft in January talk. That'd be nice. I do want to reiterate that point that Ricky just made. That I think we all have guys, especially Jets content creators and fans, right? We call in and say, "Hey, AG's my guy," or Flores is my guy, or that guy's my guy, or what have you. But we all collectively, after all the dust is settled, we come together, regardless of who the guy is. We're like, okay, let's hope this puppy works. So I'm not going to be guy the whole time. My daughter does this new thing now. Where like if she's mad at me, I'll be like, "Hey, Zariah," she'll be like, cross her arms and look away from me. She'll just get all mad. So if the Jets don't pick my guy, my number one guy that I wanted that they have not requested an interview with is Todd Monken. I will not be turning my shoulders if the Jets hire Aaron Glenn and go, you didn't take my guy, Jets, screw you. I will root for Monken or whoever it is to fail. No, whoever it is. Same thing with the draft. We're going to have draft conversations here over the coming weeks, and there's going to be players we love and players we hate. And there's a chance the Jets draft a player that you hate out there in the universe. And then you shouldn't root for that player to fail. You just got to go, okay, this player is going to hopefully prove me wrong. That's it. That's a conversation. Anywho, we got 600 people in the room. Like the video, hit subscribe. Spread the gospel of all things Boy Green Daily. Let's go back to the phone line. We got NY Jets Indy here on the show. Good morning, sir.
Hey, how's it going, Boy Green?
Hey, great to have you on the show, man.
Hey, man. Can you hear me well?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay. Man, who's your guy, man? Who do you want? Who's your guy?
I love Todd Monken a lot. The Jets have not requested to interview him. I know a lot of people like Ray Agnew. That's another random example. No real connection to Todd, but he's another person in the general manager field that a lot of Jet fans want. They haven't even requested an interview yet. But I love Todd. He's an offensive guy. That part intrigues me. That doesn't mean the next head coach has to be an offensive guy. So I like that. But he has been an offense coordinator at 6 spots. He's won with different quarterbacks. That part intrigues me. It's not like, for some of the Chiefs people, you could say, oh, so they had Patrick Mahomes and won a bunch of Super Bowls. Impressive. Like, Todd's been in all these different places, which is super intriguing. So he's there. I love AG a lot. Aaron Glenn's very high on my list. I like Vrabel. We'll see, obviously, what happens. It seems like the elephant in the room is that he's going to probably be the next New England Patriots head coach. Yep. But if that doesn't happen, obviously Vrabel's there. So that's my top 3. That was my top 3 at the beginning of this and remains my top 3 is Monken number 1, Vrabel number 2, and then throw AG in there.
Yeah, I hope we go, I guess for GM, I hope we go with Borgonzi.
Okay.
I'm cool with Borgonzi from the Chiefs. Dimitrioff, he's like, kind of just, he's Dimitrioff is up in there.
Yep.
And then, what's the other guy's name? I don't really want like Louis Riddick because this is his first time. I think we need an experienced GM.
Okay.
As far as coach, I'm trying to think about like realistically what range are we going to be in? I think what's his name? I think Vrabel. I think he's going to go. I would love Vrabel, but I think he's realistically going to the Patriots.
Yeah, probably.
With Flores, he would be my next choice, but I don't know if he's gonna. I don't know. I got my concerns about Flores. I would want him like he would be next, but I got my concerns with Flores because like I worry about his staff, and I wonder like who would want to work with them with all of that stuff kind of he's got going over his head.
Yeah,
I would love him, and I think he would be a great coach. I know he could coach, but I'm just saying. How does the world view, like his coaches and his peers view him? That's kind of my own worry. So like from that, I would probably pick Aaron Glenn. I don't really want another first time guy. Monken would have been my first choice, but we haven't interviewed him yet.
Correct.
But
yes, that's right.
I don't know why, but I think we need to. I would go with Aaron Glenn, because I would take him over Arthur Smith. I hate Arthur Smith. I
Oh
don't
yeah,
want
screw
Rex.
Arthur Smith. Absolutely not.
Yeah, that's a Jet thing to do, but I don't want Arthur Smith. I don't want Rex again. I would rather go Aaron Glenn because of his connections. I think he would be able to build a good staff. I think he would be smart enough to realize, okay, I'm a first time head coach. I'm gonna get some veteran coaches around me, and I think he would the job wouldn't be too big for him. That's the route I would go, like a Borgonzi and Glenn, or even like I said, a Dimitrioff and Glenn, or somewhere around that, something like that. And I hope we kind of can change our offense a little bit. It's kind of outdated. It's kind of old. I hope we kind of get a mobile quarterback, kind of get some motion going in it, and so kind of go that direction.
Yeah, I like that. You've got the. I like the cut of your jib, NY Jets Indy. You're sniffing in the right waters as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. So
love it.
I'll be back. I'll be back in probably 7:30 tomorrow. So.
Hey, there we go. That's a good time for it. Thanks for tuning in, NY Jets Indy. We appreciate you. We're live every single day at 7:30. Yeah, Borgonzi Glenn combo would be fun. Yeah, there's a lot of intriguing guys out there for the Jets. It's an exciting process. It doesn't happen every year. You have a vacancy at both the head coach and GM position, and we'll see how quickly the Jets are able to go through this process. Well, thanks to the 600 people in the room. Like the video, hit subscribe. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We're going to cut off early today. I've got some family obligations and then the radio show as well. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in for another episode. Again, we'll be back on at 3 o'clock. Your boy, Jet Central, Ian from Jet Central, will be joining us live at 3 o'clock. It'll be myself, Woody, and Ian. We'll all be there together. It should be a grand time. Hope you guys can check us out then. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. And again, one more shout out. You guys can do this even when I'm not on the show because it will keep track of it as well. Again, the Boy Green raffle giveaway spectacular. Aaron Rodgers Nike Atmosphere jersey, $50 Boy Green merch shop gift card, custom laser engraving, just Boy Green gift package, including license plate, pens, coins, commemorative coin, and more. All of that. To get involved in that, you just have to gift a Boy Green Coffee Club membership, which you can do on YouTube, watch on YouTube, hit the money sign. It's a final option, gift channel membership. If you just give one channel membership, you have a raffle ticket. It will be done at random. The more raffle tickets you have, the better your chances are. But if you want any chance, you gotta get one. God bless everybody, and we will see you at 3 o'clock. Take care.